photographer. He has shot some of the biggest things in the history of St. Louis. Jill, good to be with you. How are you today?
I'm doing great. It's great to be with you. Great to be with Connor this morning as well. Enjoying this fall weather. It is pretty rare, the first week of September, that we get to actually have a crisp and cool morning, and I am absolutely soaking every bit of it up.
And fittingly, it happens in one of the most important weeks in St. Louis sports in a long time. Everything is going on, and the weather's just going to be divine for racing, for golf, for soccer, for the Hall of Fame. Big moment for Al Hrabowski. Remember when we had Al on, and he talked about how he's looking forward to putting on the green jacket or the red jacket on opening day, but he's not looking forward to the speech because he knows he can't get through it. And the few times I've interviewed him when talking about the Hall of Fame, he's gotten real emotional. I imagine it's going to be very difficult for him to get through that speech on Saturday, but what a cool moment for St. Louis.
Yeah, really well said. I think it's just going to be a special weekend all the way around. I mean, there's always a lot of fun stuff on the calendar. There's this time of year it's the St. Louis Art Show, which it just takes over Clayton on Friday and Saturday night, and it's just a real gift when we can do that without feeling like we are going to explode in the heat as well. What you been up to the last 24 hours since we were last together?
Monique appreciated your jab when I was talking about how I bring up the car once in a while, and you said quid pro.
I said quid pro quo, right?
Yes.
Shouldn't you just do
And
things
so
without trying to get something out of it?
And so I kind of brought it up again today. She goes, I'm going to just start calling you Quid. That was a good shot, and she enjoyed that. I'm excited because a lot of times when you have these big events in town, it's really easy to fill shows because you have so much content. And the other thing is food. I mean, this lavish buffet every day in Norwood is just like the best. And these photographers who sometimes don't want to work hard and would rather kind of coast, and they know if they come out there with me, it's going to be tough. They just, hey, can I work with you today? Hey, I'd like to do this live shot with you, because they know there's unbelievable food out there. So that's the way to a photographer's heart.
Yes. What was the highlight of the food that you got to partake in yesterday?
I had a great grilled Swiss cheeseburger. I had a Caesar salad, homemade chocolate chips. Also had a quesadilla. Ooh, it's really good.
Yeah, that is excellent. How often would you say that you go to Starbucks? Do you go weekly? Do you go a few times a month?
I'd say maybe once every 4 months.
Okay, so rather infrequently. Do you remember a few years ago when there was Starbucks everywhere? There was a lot of growth, and then there was a lot of Starbucks closing.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that St. Louis, the Business Journal, pointing out that we have 3 new Starbucks in the St. Louis region. They said that they've gotten a lot more targeted about where they know they're going to be guaranteed where people are coming from, location-wise. One being built right now in Troy, Illinois. New one in Town and Country on Clayton Road.
Clayton Dallas. Yeah. How that is so close
and
to
then
the
new
one in
South County.
Frontenac. I always say to myself, God, they built one just like a mile down the road.
I knew somebody who worked for one of these data analytics companies that helps chains or helps businesses decide on locations. And the amount of invasive information they take from all of us to decide where they put locations. I mean, they're tracking all of our credit cards, they're tracking all of our debit card purchases to
like
know.
The analytics, huh?
Yeah, okay, this person lives in this location, but they're driving here because this every day to go to Starbucks or whatever. That tells them that if they have one between where people are driving, that they can X number of them, they can likely get them to
What did you
have
say
enough.
last week about pumpkin spice? How popular it is?
It was
the biggest day of the year.
Biggest day of the biggest, and it's one of the biggest revenue drivers for them. And is pumpkin spice. But the seasonal stuff does well for them in general, too. A lot of people like their Christmas drinks. They come out with a menu of those as well.
Okay. All right, let's break a little early. We'll come back with the opening dialogue, and then Sarah Fensky and Jay Haas this hour, Joe Young in hour 2. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
Kick off football season like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Circa Sports Illinois. It's sports betting the way it should be. With high app limits, low holds, exceptional customer service, and no bet fees ever. Other books may charge you just to get on the field, but with Circus Sports, every play is yours to call. Start betting like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, it's Julie Buck for our friends at Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution, and they've been in St. Louis for over 20 years with 2 locations, one at Clayton and Lindbergh, and the other one just west of 270 on Olive. If you've got your own business and you want to have a better banking experience, look no further than Triad Bank. Their mission is to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services to you and your business. For more, go to triadbanking.com.
Let's talk about high school for just a moment, because that young man you brought home from the hospital yesterday, you're going to blink your eyes, and all of a sudden now you start talking about high schools. Well, that's where St. Mary's Southside Catholic High School comes in, because it's an all-boys, independent Catholic high school. And what St. Mary's will do is they will prepare your son to be the future. Whether it's college, trade work, or a career of their choice, St. Mary's, over the years, has produced a whole lot of millionaires and a couple of billionaires along the way. And when you graduate from St. Mary's, you have that alumni as a resource. Schedule your visit today and find out more about St. Mary's. stmaryshs.com. That's stmaryshs.com. They will teach the skills that are needed to thrive and survive in the 21st century, as well as teaching old school values. To find out more, stmaryshs.com. That's stmaryshs.com.
Our students are getting unique opportunities that you just would not get elsewhere.
It does give us a lot of options to do things, room to move around and be free and
Hone in on the you and how that makes your creativity.
I came in here not knowing a single thing about how dance can turn into singing and acting and how that can branch out into other things.
Confluence Academies and the Grand Center Arts Academy. Discover your pathway at confluenceacademy.org.
Do you know why right now is the absolute best time to book your new patio or deck with my friends at Outdoor Living? Aside from being the best in town, these guys are really smart. They pay attention to market conditions, and they've stocked up on patio and deck supplies, including steel, all before these tariffs kicked in. So while their competitors' pricing has gone through the roof, prices have never been better at Outdoor Living. Now is the best time to call and book your summer job. Not to mention, these same competitors have sold out to large conglomerates and hedge funds. Pat Leahy and his team remain locally owned and operated, providing the best pricing and the best service in town. So, looking for a new deck or a new fence or anything outdoor? Outdoor Living, 314-966-DECK. That's 314-966-DECK. Or check them out online, Outdoor Living Inc., or check out their great showroom, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood, OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Heidi here for Premier U. Everybody is talking about the miracle weight loss drugs, semaglutide and tirzepatide. Studies show an incredible average weight loss of 20% body weight. Premier U offers the generic equivalents to the breakthrough GLP-1 weight loss drugs at a fraction of the price of competitors, as low as $3.99 a month, and they're available right now. Call Premier U at 618-7-WAIT. Mention Heidi and receive $100 off your first month. Telehealth consults available, located in Swansea and South County, or premierumed.com.
There are some common side effects for both semaglutide and tirzepatide, including nausea, vomiting, constipation, bloating, diarrhea, and lack of appetite. Learn more at premierumed.com.
And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550 KTRS. Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
All right, thought one. It was Stan Kroenke on the way out of town who said to justify the move and get votes for the move, St. Louis is just a baseball town. And despite the 17,000 at the game last night, we have been an incredible baseball town. In fact, I looked this up last night. It's really amazing. From 98 to 2023, the Cardinals drew over 3 million in 23 of the 25 years. That is insane. So what about the way we support other sports? City SC, brutal for 2 years on the field. They still sell out MLS home games. The Blues sell out every game. The Battlehawks draw in a league where nobody else draws. NASCAR has been so good that the track is now hosting a playoff event this weekend. Then last night at 6:15, there was an announcement at Norwood Hills Country Club. The Stiefel Charity Classic next year will now be one of the 3 playoff events on the Champions Tour. It's because of what the tour has seen in St. Louis. Big crowds and great organization of the event. It's a staple in St. Louis. It's such a big win because it will be in October, which will separate it more from the BMW Classic, BMW Championships, which will be in August. So a little bit more separation, that's good for sponsors. And you're assured of the best field because it is the playoffs. Everything our town does in terms of supporting sports teams and sports events is absolutely spectacular. So 3 words: stick it, Stan. You're next.
Well said. That is a great closing line. Let's cut right to it. Childcare in America is broken. Lead story today, Wall Street Journal. Pretty compelling. Parents now paying more for a year of full-time daycare than for in-state college tuition. Educators, backbone of the system, earning only an average nationwide of about $15 an hour, often with no benefits, so less than most fast food employees. It's unsustainable for families and certainly unfair for those caring for our kids. So what does the Wall Street Journal, after talking to some of the top experts in the country, propose to lay out as solutions to this problem? Because we've been talking about the problem for a while. When are we going to actually get to the solutions? Here's 5 suggestions they make briefly. Understand the math. Daycare isn't expensive because providers want to charge more. It's expensive because safety and care require low child-to-staff ratios, and wages are 60 to 80% of costs. That's just how it has to get built in. We need to train and credential staff, getting at least 1 teacher per classroom with a child development associate. It boosts retention, quality. We have to support providers, especially small or home-based centers. They need business training and incentives like property tax relief or liability insurance caps to stay afloat. We got to involve employers, companies starting to finally step up, offering backup care or on-site options. In Michigan, employers and state governments split care costs with families. And we just have to reframe it. I think instead of thinking of it as babysitting, it's really vital. Early education needs to be treated like our K-12 system to unlock some better funding long term. These steps aren't pipe dreams. I think they're actionable toward change and something, even if you don't have kids in daycare now or grandkids, it's something that is impacting our culture as a whole for sure.
Yeah, and what politician, Democrat or Republican, could be against this?
Yeah, Kehoe, Governor Kehoe, it's been something he's talked about a lot based on his own experience. Nobody has just been willing to sort of put their money where their mouth is or come up with a business government solution working together, and I think that's what's going to be needed.
Yeah, this should be forefront on every politician's mind. Good stuff. All right, thought 2. So my audience from KFNS would hear me from time to time bring up the name Buford Pusser. He was a sheriff in Tennessee. First the name, Buford Pusser. That's a bad man. He stood up against prostitution, gambling, moonshining, and other vices. He was 6'6", 250 pounds in real life, a former wrestler with the best crew cut since Sergeant Carter on Gomer. Was it Gomer Pyle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gomer Pyle, yeah. But, I mean, this was, if you look at pictures of the real Buford Pusser, this was a bad man. And a lot of times, he wasn't asking for warrants. He was just taking the law in his own hands. They wrote books about him. They established a Buford Pusser Museum. They had a Buford Pusser Festival. There were songs written about him. And there were movies about Buford Pusser. 3 movies about him. Walking Tall, 1974, was the first, starring Joe Don Baker. Let's listen. Yes. All right. And it was a big hit. They made the movie for $500,000, and it made $40 million worldwide back in that time period. I wanted, by the way, to review the movie on our Back to the Feature segment, but Jill overruled me, and we're going with Mean Girls instead.
Fake news, completely not true.
I bet more people have seen Mean Girls than Walking Tall.
Well, good. There was really a sad moment in the movie when his wife, who was in the car with him, got shot by the bad guys. 33-year-old Pauline Mullins Pusser died in 1967. Now, you wanted Buford to put a hurting on those scoundrels right away, and he did. But one thing, the bad guys didn't kill his wife, Pauline. Buford did. The cold case file just released revealed physical, medical, forensic, ballistic, and reenactment evidence. He killed his wife. Her brother said there was trouble in the marriage. And he said, quote, "I think I can lay down tonight and have some peace in my mind." So now you know the rest of the story. Buford Pusser, by the way, died a long time ago.
Yeah,
Isn't that
that's
crazy.
Yeah, I'd seen just a headline on that, so I'm glad you give us the rest of the story. That was super interesting. And speaking of headlines, it's always fun opening up Midwest Living magazine, either the digital or the regular print version, to see a headline like this. This Midwest city has one of the country's most underrated food scenes. Imagine my thrill when I saw they were talking about St. Louis. Of course, I don't think it's underrated. Neither do many of you. We think it's not. It's just rated perfectly because it's great. But they listed a number of what they think are the outstanding restaurants in our area that make it worth putting St. Louis on your travel schedule if you are visiting the Midwest. Bailey's Range, Balkan Treat Box, Blackthorn Pub and Pizza, favorite of Connor and I, Bowood by Niche, Bridged Tap House, Charlie Gito's, Clementine's, Crown Candy Kitchen, Yay Andy, Fitz Bottling Company, Joya's, Gus's Pretzel, Indo, La Patisserie Choquette, that incredible bakery, Little Fox, Lona's Little Eats, Molly's and Soulard, Nathaniel Reed, Nixta, Olive and Oak, Park Avenue, Coffee, Pavilion, Rooster, Salt and Smoke, Sydney Street Cafe, Steve's Hot Dogs, Sweetheart 2, Trattoria, Marsala, and Vicia, all listed as must visits when you come to our town.
What was the publication again?
Midwest Living.
Wow, that's good. All those places they name, man, just makes you hungry listening. It's good to hear. All right, thought three, a couple of quick ones. I was on the range in Norwood waiting to interview Stuart Sink and Bernhard Langer yesterday. I was so mesmerized watching these men never straining on any swing, as smooth as Sade. Last night, 6:30, went out and hit for 30 minutes, never felt so smooth. It was like osmosis. I watched them, and then I just felt smooth. Watching women and senior golfers hit balls is educational because they figured it out. Don't go after every ball. Think tempo, tempo, tempo. It was just really great seeing it. Okay, now something completely different. And here's a question for our audience. Royal Banks of Missouri text line, 84126. Love to start this poll. 54 were shot in Chicago Labor Day weekend. Trump wants to bring in the National Guard. Governor Pritzker says no way. Joe Scarborough, MSNBC, says the governor should work with the president on this. Question on the text line. Yes, you would be in favor of the National Guard going to Chicago, or no, it would be a bad idea. You can add a comment, but start it with, so we could easily grade this, yes, good idea, no, bad idea. And then finally, congrats to Jill. She has really picked a winner on Netflix, Hostage, big time, 5 episodes. We're about 3.5 in. Can't wait to watch the final couple of episodes.
Yeah, hold on to your hat. They really, take you riding fast into the finale for sure. And I think it was actually one of our listeners, Frank, who first recommended it.
Really?
I hadn't even heard of it. Hadn't even seen the ad come up on my Netflix. And then when it did, I thought, well, I'll just kind of check out the trailer, and I got hooked. And it was a great recommendation. Circling back around to first subject where we talked about daycare parenting. Ever feel like you need just a moment as maybe a mom or a grandma or a parent or a dad? One St. Charles County attorney turned entrepreneur named Amanda Hausman sure did. After baby number 2 arrived, she said every night she'd collapse on the couch at 9 p.m. thinking, I need a moment. Instead of just wishing, she created one literally. She left her legal career to go all in a new app called Mom Moment. She's gotten, and what the idea is, Frank, is it matches people who want to help moms be able to do tasks for them, serve them. You can hire them to do something that you need as a new mom, and moms who are looking for anything from laundry to other tasks around the house. She's running support from her Weldon Spring home office with her sister-in-law handling marketing. Talk about a family startup. Again, the app is called Mom Moment. It connects busy parents who need a hand with other moms looking to earn a little extra income. And I'm thinking about maybe a mom who has older kids in school, a little time on her hands can help out somebody who's got a brand new baby at home. The other mom could use a little extra income. The mom who's got the brand new baby, 24/7 job, could use a little extra help. I love the idea.
Yeah, and I can't think of a group in society that needs more help than a mother with young babies. And
Yeah.
I'm seeing it up close and personal right now with Brooke.
And somebody who could give that help is a mom who has a little bit older kids and maybe some time on her hands during the day to be able to help out for an hour or two. I think it's a great idea. I hope it takes off like crazy, both here in St. Louis and then eventually around the country.
That's great. All right, a little bit of business before we go to break.
Speaking of helping out busy moms, parents, humans in general, Altair Travel and Cruises, the place we go to help plan travel. Most of us around here at the station have had such good experiences with them, including our friends Heidi and McGraw, who've done some excellent trips that you guys get to go on as listeners as well, including the big trip coming up in October for McGraw, which is the Disney cruise. Daughter Emerson, really looking forward to that. The November trip to Costa Rica, an incredible group of listeners and friends of listeners signed up for that trip as well. Whether you join us on one of these incredible trips led by our staff here at KTRS, whether you go on a group trip with some other friends that you put together, some family members celebrating a milestone birthday and anniversary for mom and dad, whatever that is, or whether you're a solo traveler who just wants to go someplace that's incredibly interesting, phenomenal, and make sure that somebody else helps you plan the most efficient and safe trip. Altair Travel and Cruises can do all of that for you. They have a long legacy and history of being excellent at what they do, and they still continue to love helping customers like you and me have the best trips ever. AltairTravel.com, 314-968-9600.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Well, today we play the waiting game as a cold front holds off until this evening into tonight. Ahead of that front, it's going to be warm, up to about 87 under partly cloudy skies. But then when the front arrives, rain and storm chances ramp up. That's this evening and overnight tonight. The front swinging through. I think highest rain chances are going to be 8 p.m. to about 3 in the morning across the St. Louis metro area. A couple of showers still hanging on overnight, drifting to the south. We drop down to 58 by daybreak tomorrow. And Thursday, almost like October. Mostly sunny, a high of 75. Really nice. Highs in the 70s through the weekend, too, with another slight chance of some rain on Friday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers on the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Don't look now, but the Stages season is just about over. But before they close up shop for the season, beautiful, the Carole King musical. Now at Stages, it starts September 19th through October 19th. For tickets, stages.stlewis.org. Electricity is very important because if you don't have electricity, you're sitting in the dark in more ways than one. And when the lights go out for one last time, maybe, just maybe, you want a whole home generator. Well, that's where Michael Baldy comes in because Michael Baldy can do that. He's putting in a whole home generator for a friend of mine on the Hill. Whether you live on the Hill or a brand new home, at some point you're going to need some electrical help, and that's where Michael Baldy comes in. He's been an electrician since 1996, and he has a full team of electricians who will help you every single step of the way, whether it's a whole home generator, maybe some extra plugs for the Christmas lights, maybe it's something in the basement, something in the attic, maybe the garage. Doesn't matter. Whether it's an old Victorian home or a brand new commercial building, indoor or out, Michael Baldy, the electrician, has got to be on your phone. Put him on your speed dial, 314-968-9999, 314-968-9999. You can thank me later. Michael Baldy, BaldyElectric.com.
It's Julie Buck here to tell you that the patio is open at Bishop's Post right next to Chesterfield Mall. Get your reservations in now and go to Bishop's Post. You will love it. Tell them Julie Buck sent you, bishopspost.com.
Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have 2 locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple of screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations, 1 great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware, we'll see you there.
Royal Banks of Missouri is proud to sponsor the return of the border war between Mizzou and KU this Saturday.
To the house in Missouri.
The rivalry returns after 19 years. Don't miss all the action live here on the Big 550.
Pre-game at 12:30, kickoff at 2:30.
And KTRS has full coverage all week on the Big Sports Show with KTRS Sports Director Brendan Lisi and the Press Box with Frank Cusimano.
Missouri delivers a counterpunch on the fake punch.
This is why the Big 550 is live, local, and the home for everything Mizzou. Proudly powered by Royal Banks of Missouri.
Let's go Mizzou.
Welcome back, everybody. Frank and Jill Show. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano, along with Connor McCarthy. Sarah Fenske joins us now. Of course, she's the executive editor of St. Louis Magazine, editor of the St. Louis Daily Newsletter, Donnybrook panelist, host of the 314 podcast. How you doing today, Sarah?
I'm doing good. It's a beautiful day outside.
It sure is, and it seems like the kind of day that people might want to grab a burger if they're a tourist or strolling around downtown through the city garden. But there's a little bit of a kerfluffle, shall we call it, between the burger joint that has been serving visitors in that area and the powers that be who determine who gets that restaurant lease there. Update us on that.
Yeah, so this news broke yesterday when the proprietor of Burger 809, which is operated out of City Garden, announced that they would be closing in December. And you might think, okay, this is just a typical, downtown story. A restaurant doesn't have enough business. That is apparently not it at all. She wanted to stay. She felt like the business was successful. The landlord, which is the Gateway Foundation that runs City Garden, they had terminated her lease early. And so she kind of came out swinging, said some stuff about how she wasn't happy about this and she couldn't understand why. Then last evening, they then sort of responded in kind and said, no, you do know why. We've been trying to talk to you about the problems here. She has apparently now come swinging again. So this has kind of gotten a little bit ugly. But I think the upshot of it is she's only going to be open there through December. And then the people who run City Garden say they are going to take this over and they're going to come up with a restaurant that they themselves plan to run. So a big change at City Garden. It's kind of hard to sort out at this point who's in the wrong here, but sort of bad will, resulting from this change.
Another topic, the president is pushing numerous states to revisit their maps so Republicans can retain their majority in the House. Where does it stand in our state, Sarah?
Well, it begins today. Governor Kehoe has called everybody back. They're going to be looking at this map that Trump just kind of put it out there. Like, here's the map that you guys need to do. Pass this with no changes. I'm sure Democrats will be trying to see that there are some changes made. I don't know that they're going to be that successful in that. However, I think they do have an ace up their sleeve, potentially. You never know how judges are going to interpret things. But I was able to talk to some legal experts yesterday. There is a group that is mobilizing against this. They believe they have an argument that says the state legislature can't do this. So I think they'll be successful in getting that argument in front of a judge. What happens from there, who knows? And as it turns out, the fate of Congress could hang in the balance. It'll all come down to a couple Missouri judges.
Yeah, super interesting stuff, Sarah. Something else you've been reporting on this week is some new enforcement of a personnel policy at City Hall that was probably the source of what some people say was abuse by city employees in the past, in a way that allowed them to take more time off than was considered productive by some. And Mayor Spencer kind of came in and said, we're gonna switch things up a little bit. What is the bottom line of how that could impact productivity and what's happening at City Hall?
Well, I think this is probably going to be a good change for those of us who want to see City Hall pick up the pace a little bit. You know, Mayor Tashara Jones, who had put this policy in place, she said in an exit interview with St. Louis Public Radio that this was her biggest regret, seeing how what looked like some abuse of this policy, that people were just taking this family leave, and it's paid leave. They were taking it a lot. And so she was kind of disappointed in how that had shaken out. Kara Spencer jumped right in there and said, okay, you can't do this anymore. You've got to use up your paid time off first, which I got to admit, as a boss who tries to supervise people, seems like kind of a no-brainer. So she did that. And as my colleague Ryan Kroll reported, within a day, there's a certain city department that shall not be named suddenly had like 15 people suddenly go off leave and show up back at the office. It's funny how that works.
All right, Governor Keogh is being sued for activating the National Guard before that No Kings protest. What's your take there?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this one could have more of an uphill struggle, although you never know. You know, not being a lawyer, I should never guess on this stuff. Yet I never seem to stop guessing on it. What I thought was interesting is it is the son of a Republican lawmaker that has brought this lawsuit. He says his rights were violated by Governor Keogh declaring a state of emergency when there really was no emergency. So either he's got totally different political views from his dad, or there's some sort of internal conflict here in the Republican ranks.
There's no matter how anybody looks at the numbers, there's a budget challenge, so we say, if some might say crisis, in the St. Louis City Public Schools, and at least one outside group came in and looked at it and said, we just can't continue to operate so many buildings in the city of St. Louis in neighborhoods when they are just not full or are barely full at all. New report out by the Post-Dispatch this week, or new reporting by the Post-Dispatch this week, is saying, wait a second, it may not save the money that the some of the outside consultants claimed it would save on the school budget. You've been fairly forthcoming with your thoughts that maybe we needed to bite the bullet and do a lot of these closings. Did anything about this new reporting shift any of your thinking around this?
Well, it was interesting to read. I appreciate that their reporter, Blythe Bernhardt, went in depth on this. And, you know, in the past, they have claimed, oh, well, if you just close this school, you could save several $1 million a year. That savings never seems to materialize. And, you know, not just in St. Louis, they've looked at other districts where a bunch of neighborhood schools have closed, and yet they don't seem to realize any financial gain. That, I'll be honest, seems kind of crazy to me. And I guess my takeaway from this is you can't just close a school and expect the savings to materialize. Then you have to be smart about how you reallocate people. Maybe you might have to trim down some staff. Like, okay, we don't need 35 custodians if we only have 13 schools. I guess it just goes to show, if you want to keep sort of running things in an inefficient way, you can do that just as well with fewer buildings as with more. How depressing is that, Todd?
Mark McCloskey is back in the news. This is a fascinating story reported on by your Ryan Kroll about now he is defending the people involved in for their actions, who were convicted for their actions January 6th.
Yeah, what's interesting is he's not defending them as a criminal lawyer, because obviously Donald Trump has sort of waved the magic wand and pardoned all these people. Those charges have gone away. He's now coming in and saying, hey, these people deserve compensation. They suffered. They had to hire lawyers. Some of them spent time in jail. This is no different than if somebody was wrongly accused of murder and spent several decades in prison. We write them a check. He's saying it's time for the federal government to pay these people. So I don't know what kind of reception he's going to get for this argument. It seems like there's, possibly a very receptive administration that wouldn't mind writing these guys a check. I don't know how the average American is going to feel about their taxpayer dollars going to these people who were found guilty for what they were doing. I don't know. But Mark McCluskey's fighting the good fight on this front.
Sarah Fensky, as always, executive editor of St. Louis Magazine, St. Louis Daily Newsletter magazine, or newsletter editor. Always fun to have these conversations with you, and we look forward to talking to you again next week. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. You too.
Miller Furniture, our friends, have a sale to sort of end all sales every year, and it's around Labor Day, and it is going on for until about September 9th here. Take advantage of it, my friends. Up to 75% off. That is a huge discount. In-store furniture, some other big discounts possible on select custom ordered items, those dream items that you've been thinking about. Oh, yeah, I'll get to it. Now's the time. These sales are incredible, and people are taking advantage of it every single day. Big sales on things like their Stickley furniture, which isn't on sale all the time. Very high quality, incredibly classic American furniture line, Chatham and Wells, luxury mattresses. You've just got to visit one of their locations to check it out, to see this beautiful furniture for yourself, to see what's going to work perfectly in your home as well. Of course, the flagship location, newly remodeled in Belleville, just fantastic. Largest location in Fairview Heights with the biggest selection of mattresses in the entire region. Lake St. Louis at the Meadows in Ellisville off Manchester Road. Do a little pre-shopping at millerfurniture.com. That's MUELLER furniture.com. And then make plans to head out to one of the stores and take advantage of this super sale today.
If you've been injured in a car crash, you need a law firm that knows how to win. Ott Law helps crash victims get the compensation they deserve for pain and suffering. From the moment of impact to the final verdict or settlement, Ott Law will guide you every step of the way. We don't back down. We bring constant victory. Ott Law proudly supports the St. Louis Men's Group Against Cancer. Call Ott Law at 314-293-3756. Online at ott.law. The choice of a lawyer is an important one and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You know what they say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and windows and doors are usually that first impression when it comes to your home. Dalco Home Remodeling custom makes their windows and doors, and better yet, they make them here in Missouri. Dalco Home Remodeling is locally and family owned, celebrating 50 years, so they know a thing or two. The Dalco team is known for quality and customer satisfaction. That's the way it was 50 years ago when they started, and that's still true today. So if you're looking to change the look of your home without breaking the bank, call Dalco Home Remodeling. They do free in-home estimates. Just call 314-298-7300 and make an appointment. You can also check them out online at dalcohomeremodeling.com. As they've always said, if you buy somewhere else and find out how much you could have saved at Dalco, you'll blow your stack. So call Dalco first, 314-298-7300.
Did you recently change jobs? Don't forget about your old 401k. Leaving it behind could mean missed growth, unnecessary fees, or tax headaches down the road. Should you leave it where it is, roll it into a new plan, cash it out, or even move it to an IRA? Each option has long-term consequences. At Pioneer Wealth Management, we help you make smart decisions about your retirement savings. Visit PioneerWealthMGMT.com to schedule your personalized retirement review.
Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Creative One Wealth and Pioneer Wealth Management are not affiliated companies. Licensed insurance professionals. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
Truck drivers, have you been searching for a more reliable driving job? Get the paychecks and predictability you need as a Schneider driver. Schneider's large selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Plus, Schneider drivers have access to great benefits with a 401k match and a 24/7 support team. Get the keys to a better driving job. Search openings near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Growth by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
Welcome back. This is the Frank and Jill Show. Frank Cusimano with Jill Farmer. He is one of the greatest golfers to ever come out of St. Louis. Jay Haas is the pride of Belleville. Think about this. He has played in 3 Ryder Cups. He has 33 professional wins. Jay Haas was a model of consistency on the PGA Tour for a long time. If he played in a tournament, he made the cut. In fact, he made the cut 593 times on the PGA Tour, more than any other player. He's played in over 800 events. He joins us now. Jay, thanks for being a part of the program. How are you today?
Well, all that sounded really good. I'm getting a big head here as I'm listening to you rattle off that stuff there. That I don't know if you're making up half of that or not. But,
no, it's true.
I've sure enjoyed what I've done all these years, and I'm so glad I'm in a sport where I can still do it at this age.
Yeah, and I remember a couple of years ago, we interviewing you after one of your magnificent rounds at Norwood Hills Country Club. I think you shot your age. You're 71 now. You expect to shoot your age if you want to win this week, correct?
Well, it better be lower than that. The scores are, unbelievable. The talent that is still out here, Hall of Fame players, soon to be Hall of Fame players, those that are just on the outside looking in of that stature. But, the scores, I don't know what you'd say, 15, 16 under or something like that for 3 days here. So I need to shoot way lower than my age. But it's a nice challenge to do that each day. And you would think it'd get easier, but my talent keeps eroding on me. And the older I get, the harder it is to shoot a good score.
Jay, Jill Farmer here. Golf, of course, is a family business for you. Come from a distinguished family of golfers. Is the next generation taking up the mantle and continuing the excellence?
Well, my son Bill played on the tour and still has some status on the PGA Tour. He won 6 times. He won the FedEx Cup championship down there at East Lake in 2011, and he still wants to try to play. He's just 43. I'd say just 43. That seems to be old anymore for the PGA Tour, but I think about some of my best years were in my late 40s, early 50s, so I still think he has a good bit of golf left. My other son, Jay Jr., is an accomplished teacher. We have a driving range back home in Greenville, South Carolina, and he's covered up with lessons all the time. And just in general, my brother Jerry, golf coach at Wake Forest University. Have a grandson now. He's about to turn 14, who's really got a great swing and game, and it's kind of fun to see him getting excited about golf. But it's a game for all ages, all shapes and sizes, men, women, young, old. It's again, I'm so fortunate to be involved with golf all these years.
And of course, your father-in-law, the great Bob Golby. I'm wondering what the rounds were like with you and Bob, the former Masters champion.
It was always a teaching experience for him and a learning experience for me. He loved to explain things about why he hit a certain shot and how he hit that shot, and so I kind of I was able to get a lesson almost every time we went out. Some type of shot, and I'd hit a shot maybe that wasn't so terrific, and he'd explain to me maybe why that wasn't, and next time try this, and very patient with me. And so I was again very fortunate to have him there as my instructor since I was 6 years old. So that was it was always fun to play with him, and always fun to compare my game with his. And there came a time when I was starting to match shot for shot, and so I felt like I was able to do this and go forward and maybe have a career in it. And he was always my biggest fan as well. My sports psychologist, if you will. He was always telling me I could do it. He's seen him come and go, and I was as good as the next guy, all that stuff. So it was in my head that I could do this. And so people say, what would you have done if you hadn't played golf? I have no idea, but I'm sure glad it worked out.
I should say you're Bob's nephew. I do want to say that every time we put you on TV or people know that you're coming to town to play, I hear from all these Belleville people. And then the last time we watched you, you had kind of a little bit of an entourage. Some of your high school teammates and friends come out to Norwood to watch you perform.
They do. I see people that I've known for 50-plus years, and have a caddy, Denny Alberts, who I played high school golf with. He's caddy for me for since every year I've come here and played, so it's kind of fun to reminisce with him. And he's in the golf business. He teaches as well, and so it's fun to have him there. And he's been one of my biggest fans and supporters throughout my career too. So, since I've been here, my mom's still living. She's 98. She's over at the Our Lady of the Snows Shrine, their assisted living place, and seen her a little bit. And so it's fun. We rode around Belleville yesterday and just reminisced a little bit. Went by the old high school, and so boy, where did the time go? But it's been fun. Always been fun to come here. The fans of St. Louis have supported us so well here in so many years. With this senior PGA, senior U.S. Open, PGA, the FedEx Cup playoffs. They love coming out. They love seeing good golf, and they'll see some this week as well.
If you're just joining us, golf legend Jay Haas on the line with us. Is there anything that you just have to do when you come back to St. Louis? A restaurant you got to eat at, a relative's Midwestern dish you got to try when you get back up in this neck of the woods?
I always try to get by St. Clair Country Club where I grew up playing, and try to get around in there just to see and think about all the shots that I've played there over the years. No special restaurant. There's so many. It seems like we catch something different every year, and there's no must in that regard. But again, seeing a lot of people that I've known for so long is just fun. Last night we had dinner with some relatives, and it was a fun time to think about Uncle Bob, who's not with us anymore, but we tell stories about him and have some good laughs, and it's just a good home week for me. And my wife Jan has learned a lot, about me and my past and things like that. So it's fun for her as well.
I'm wondering, when they introduce you on Friday morning and they say he's won 18 times on the Champions Tour, 9 times on the PGA Tour, Jay Haas, and I'm wondering, do you still feel the nerves?
I really do. And I do more so here, even because I really want to perform well for my friends and things like that. But I do, and I've always said, if I don't get nervous on the first tee, or for that matter, all through the course of the day, I should probably go home. If I'm not nervous, then I don't care, and I just need to stop playing. So I still want to do well. I still see the good shot in my head. I don't pull it off as much as I used to, but when I do, that's what keeps me coming back. When I picture a nice 5-iron shot into the green and then I hit that shot, it's like, hey, I can still do this. And the good part about golf is it's not who you are, what you've done or anything like that. The ball, jokingly say, it goes right where you hit it every time. So no matter who you are, or how old you are, if you hit good shots, it's a good shot. It doesn't go straighter because you're a Hall of Famer or a lesser player. It goes straight because you've hit a good shot, and that's what I try to still do. And I love being announced off the tee and having a scorecard in my back pocket and being in competition. It's kind of the drug that fuels us all, I think. Just to that competition and maybe getting in the hunt and maybe getting a chance to grab that trophy at the end of the week.
Final thought before we let you go. I'm sure this will tick everybody off. At what age were you shooting par? Because I know you were a phenom.
I was probably at 13, 14. I was probably shooting, par or better. I'm not sure when I first broke par, but I just remember going out and playing, and my goal was to beat my score from yesterday, and to be better each time I went out. And there was a time, probably 13 or 14, where I started to gain a little bit of yardage, and then the long par 4s were not as long as they were. The par 5s were more gettable and things like that. But, it's hard to say. I would say in high school, I remember, so my first year of high school, I was 14, and I probably averaged 38 or 9 for 9 holes. So, so there were times where I would break par, but I don't remember a specific day. And I guess golf to me is something you just need to keep turning the page on and forget about what just happened and think about what's ahead.
An honor to have you on the program. Good luck. We'll be pulling for you all weekend long at Norwood Hills Country Club for the Stiefel Charity Classic. Thank you so much, Jay.
My pleasure. Good talking to you all.
All right, Jay Haas joining us on the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. By the way, we just got a confirmation. It's Mizzou, Kansas week. You can hear that game right here on the Big 550 KTRS. And tomorrow we'll be joined by one of the great coaches in Mizzou football history, Gary Pinkel. We'll take a short time out. We'll be right back after this.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-549-8866. 800-549-8866. 800-549-8866.
News, weather, traffic, sports, and live local talk. This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis, Ladue, Glen Carbon, University City, Edwardsville, Manchester, Wood River, Grafton, Collinsville, Pacific, and the world.
Streaming live at KTRS.com.
Depend on it.
From ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. There is a new bipartisan effort to have Congress release all the files related to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Democratic Representative Ro Khanna is leading the push alongside Republican Congressman Thomas Massie, who says that while the House Oversight Committee has been looking into certain documents the DOJ has provided, the entirety of the files have not been turned over.
I appreciate the efforts of my colleague James Comer, who's leading the Oversight Committee. They may find some information, but they're allowing the DOJ to curate all of the information that the DOJ is giving them.
An elaborate show of force to the Western world coming in the form of a military parade from China, Russia, and North Korea.
It was about pride and power and patriotism on a global stage, showcasing its new military hardware, intercontinental ballistic missiles that are technically capable of reaching continental United States if need be. Also unmanned drones, stealth bombers. This was about, for Xi Jinping, showing that its military is modernized and ready for combat.
ABC's Britt Clennett, the woman who allegedly sold the fatal doses of the drug ketamine to Friends actor Matthew Perry, is now set to officially tell a judge she committed the crime.
Jasveen Sangha is the last of the 5 defendants to plead guilty, admitting to her role in the death of Matthew Perry and another man who died of an overdose, allegedly from taking her drugs in 2019. Today, she's set to go before a federal judge to officially change her plea. Sangha, known as a ketamine queen, agreeing to plead guilty to several counts, including distributing ketamine. She could get up to 45 years in federal prison when she's sentenced. Prosecutors say she also tried to destroy evidence after Perry's death. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Vice President J.D. Vance set to travel to Minneapolis today to pay respects to the victims of last week's school shooting. You're listening to ABC News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. Traffic fatalities in Missouri over the Labor Day holiday weekend are down this year. The Missouri Highway Patrol reports 5 people were killed over the long holiday weekend. That's compared to 17 last year. A special session begins today to enact legislation establishing updated congressional districts for the state of Missouri and amending the state's initiative petition process. To establish updated congressional districts for the state of Missouri, Governor Mike Kehoe unveiled what's being called the Missouri First Map, which is a more compact, contiguous proposed map that was drawn and created by his team in Missouri to be considered by the General Assembly. Some highlights of this map include splitting fewer counties and municipalities than the current map and retaining every current member of Missouri's congressional delegation in their current districts. The proposed congressional map would make a significant change to Missouri's 5th district near Kansas City, and critics argue the changes are politically motivated and could shift the district from Democratic to Republican control. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page held a press conference yesterday at the launch of a multi-million-dollar project designed to stabilize neighborhoods struggling with abandoned properties. Details from KTRS's Steve Potter.
The Tuesday ceremony marked the official beginning of an $11 million demolition project that, when completed, will clear more than 200 problem properties in St. Louis County. Page said there are developers waiting in the wings to build new houses to replace the ones now being torn down. The project began yesterday in the Castle Point neighborhood in North County, represented by Shalonda Webb.
We're not just about taking care of the social needs of our community, but it's now time for St. Louis County and North County to talk about economic development that would help this community thrive and get more revenue generated to help the community and its school district. And so I am so excited today.
Page said they are currently creating a web page so the public can not only track when and where demolitions will happen, but can also make suggestions about other problem properties in their neighborhoods that they want to see come down. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
The St. Louis Board of Education says it will put audit recommendations into action. This is in response to the state auditor's audit recommendations last month, as well as the SLPS staff and community feedback. The board has preliminarily engaged the Missouri School Boards Association for assistance in identifying key supports and strategies. And a new high school for teens recovering from drug addiction is being proposed in the St. Louis area. If approved, Vivo St. Louis would become the first recovery high school in Missouri, backed by $3.6 million from the opioid settlement funds. African Vision of Hope, a locally based nonprofit committed to helping children and families living in extreme poverty in Zambia, Africa, will be celebrating its 25th anniversary on September 25th in St. Louis. 2 longtime supporters, actor Dennis Quaid and his wife Laura Quaid, who is from the St. Louis area, will attend this year's gala. This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Illinois Department of Labor is voicing concerns over a federal rollback of minimum wage protections, citing home health care workers as the latest target. KTRS's Jill Enders has the story.
The Illinois Department of Labor is opposing the federal rollback of minimum wage protections. Director Jane Flanagan released a statement which reads in part, quote, "While Illinois has robust minimum wage and overtime protections for home health care workers, if the proposed rule is adopted, it will create inconsistencies and confusion across the country, end quote. Yesterday, Illinois joined Pennsylvania and states across the country in formally opposing the U.S. Department of Labor's notice of proposed rulemaking application of the Fair Labor Standards Act to domestic service. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
And now let's take a look at the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement, Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 a.m. Mixed right now on Wall Street. Dow Jones is down 192 points to 45,103. S&P 500 is up 18 points to 6,433. The Nasdaq is up 184 points to 21,463. KTRS Sports. Mizzou kicker Blake Craig will be lost for the season with a complete ACL tear. That means true freshman Robert Meyer will assume the place kicking duties for the Tigers. He could get his first field goal opportunity this Saturday when Mizzou plays Kansas in the renewal of the Border War. 12:30 pregame right here on the Big 550. And St. Louis City SC will be without Mikey Joyner Saturday night after the 19-year-old was given a chance with the under-20 U.S. national team. Coming off his first career MLS goal, Joyner will participate in the U20 camp in Spain with an outside chance of making the team for the U20 World Cup. KTRS weather, partly cloudy today, but more clouds moving in this afternoon. Today's high in the mid-80s. Tonight, rain and storms with an overnight low of 57. Tomorrow, cloudy with rain likely, much cooler, high of 74. Right now, it's a beautiful 78 degrees. The time is 11:08. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
And welcome back to the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. We're kind of saluting the city of Belleville today. You just heard from Jay Haas. And now we have in studio Mighty Joe Young, who has just wrapped up a magnificent career, almost 41 years as a photojournalist, a photog at Channel 5. Joe, great to be with you. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Frank. Hi, Jill. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
We've got a lot to talk about here. Let's begin with your most powerful moment or your most memorable moment in television. Would it be the flood of '93 where you got the most important shot?
That's definitely one of them. That was a crazy morning. We were flying and came upon the breached levee, and it was right where that farmhouse was down in the Columbia Bottoms. And you could just tell that water was hitting it directly, and that poor house wasn't going to be there for long. But, I've had a few, a lot of them have been with you, like at the Super Bowls. I'll never forget running on the field in Atlanta after they won the Super Bowl. That was pretty crazy.
And Joe and I spent about a month together at the Olympics in 1996.
That was a fun month.
That was.
We thought we had a real scam going. We were parking in this alleyway where we wouldn't have to pay for parking. And we did this for about a week or so. And then one day we came out, and there's no cars in the alleyway. And I saw the guy sitting by the parking lot that we didn't use, and he goes, "Guy should have parked in here and paid." So we spent the rest of our day trying to find out where the car was towed to, get in the car, and then get into our live shot.
That's a recurring theme in Frank stories, cars parking in the wrong spot and having to try to deal with the consequences of that for sure.
We don't like to pay for parking. I think that's wrong.
Joe,
remember we had to tell our news director, Mike Shipley, our assistant news director at the time, that we don't have our car. It's at the Fulton County Police. Could you give us $400 to get it back?
And I remember all he said was, "I don't care what's happening. Just make sure you're at your live shot at 5 o'clock."
Exactly,
so we're just but we were going to tow yards. It was a crazy day.
So when you started in this business in the 80s, some would say that was the heyday of local TV news. There was pretty full staffs and kind of well-resourced. Things have changed a lot in the 40 years since you've been doing this. What has remained the same that still motivated you to get up and go to work every day, and what has changed the most?
Well, like you said, I mean, the staffing's really changed. It seems like, back in the 80s and 90s, you'd walk into the newsroom, you'd hear typewriters going, and there'd just be a hustle and bustle about
ashtrays
the
and everybody's
people smoking, a little haze of smoke on the ceiling. But I think the the one thing that I've always enjoyed is just going out and meeting people and telling their stories. You know, that's the coolest part of my job. I can't tell you how many people I've met, and these are just common people that, for whatever reason, you know, we highlighted their story, and it's just been a great career to meet so many people and to have. It's been an honor to tell their stories.
Yeah, and it's amazing how no matter who he meets, how famous or how wealthy or how powerful they are, and Joe may not know this person at all, within like 2 minutes, this person loves Joe. I mean, I know you've been around Jackie Joyner-Kersee and Curtis Francois, but we were there the other day for his last shoot, and those two were just yucking it up. At the Olympics, August A. Bush IV, I swear to God, they became buddies because we would see him all the time. Hey, Joe, hey, August. And he's like, Joe, that's August A. Bush IV. He just had this incredible knack of just connecting with people and never being intimidated. That was his best quality. So
that relationship never panned out, though. We never
call for
went
golf.
golfing or anything like that.
Doggone it.
But it was a fun story to do with him. You know, yeah, there's another story. They're at the Budweiser thing at the Olympics, and they're making Budweiser there. And here we have the fourth taking Frank and I behind the scenes to do the Budweiser. And it's like 10 in the morning. And he looks at me and goes, here, you want a Budweiser? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to say no to him. So I had my morning beer at 10 in the morning. Don't tell Shipley.
What's your favorite Frank story that you remember through the years?
Oh, we got to be careful here.
There's been a lot of them.
Got to be careful.
There's been a lot of them. I thought I was going to tell a good one here.
Nope, you can hold off. Think about
Okay,
it.
yeah, let me think about that.
And one of our things was Heidi Glaus, our popular talk show host here. We took Heidi out on her first story.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yes, and we went out, I think, to interview Ken Reitz.
Kenny Reitz, he was golfing.
Yes.
And she was interning.
Yes, and, you know, we loved her. And she thought, boy, this is a lot of fun. These guys just go out and golfing and talk with Major League Baseball players.
Driving around on a golf cart.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's funny with Heidi. Even then, she was an intern, and she was trying to make her tape or whatever. But you could tell right then that she had
She had that spark.
Yeah, she really did. She was just so comfortable and relaxed on camera. But
yeah, she's pretty great.
Yeah.
So back when you started, I think if people weren't aware of how sort of the sausage was made, those cameras were heavy. Those tape decks
Oh, my
originally, probably
gosh.
when you were in Cape Girardeau, you were carrying around the heavy
Yeah.
tape decks. The technology improved over the years. Did that help your ability to tell the story? Was it?
oh, definitely. Yeah, because like you said, you'd have probably a 30-pound camera, then another 30-pound recording deck you'd have. Then if you were going mobile, you'd put on a big light belt that probably weighed another 20
the recording
pounds.
deck, too. I forgot about that.
If you were loaded down, I mean, it would wear you out. But, yeah, technology has really improved so to give you the tools to tell better stories, you know, because, you know, if we do live shots, we just have to pull the live truck up. Hopefully you can get a signal in for there. Then you had to run cable into the building or the home or whatever you're doing the live shot. But now we just have these little backpacks we put on, and they're pretty good, actually, because you can go live just about anywhere.
Yeah, and you paid a price orthopedically for carrying that stuff for all those years, right?
Oh, I don't know about that. I've had both my hips replaced.
What about shoulders?
No, my shoulders have been pretty good.
Yeah.
But,
We've had
but
a
you know,
bunch
if you went handheld, like shooting a Rams game for 4 hours and then following Frank around for post game, here's
He's
a good
pretty
Frank
quick
story.
on his feet, isn't he?
Here's a good Frank story. And this is almost every time. Hey, we're going to run over here and do a quick soundbite with so-and-so. Okay, then you're in the car, and then as you're heading back, he's like, hey, let's swing by SLU real quick. They're practicing right now. We can get a little bit of B-roll, and we'll get a quick shot. You know, so every story started out like it was going to be simple, and then Frank picked up 2 or 3 stories on the way back to the station.
Monique and I cannot identify with that at all. That's a strange behavior to us.
And then our scam at the Olympics, one of the best things we did is they'd have these meetings, and Joe and I would always get like the good story and take off. We'd be going to Tuscaloosa to shoot the USA Olympic soccer team in action, or we'd go follow Jackie Joyner-Kersee and Dr. Rick. And Bush and Tuxbury would be like stuck back there doing stories on like St. Louis families at the Olympics. We really pulled the scale.
Yeah, no, we redid, and it was fun because we did get the like the Jackie Joyner stuff. You know, she hurt her hamstring, and they were secretly working out And Frank would find out where they're working out. And we'd be in the bushes getting video of her and everything. It was crazy.
Yeah, and the reason we found out is because Dr. Rick loves the camera more than anybody in the world, and he would text me. And then Bob Kersey would see us. Eventually, he said, "How the hell did you guys know we were here?" It was always Dr. Rick. He just tipped us off. That's how our relationship began with Dr. Rick.
Oh, that is great. Are you going to miss the people the most? What will you miss the most?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because, as you well know, working in TV, there's a bond there that you get because, you spend a lot of time with these people, whether it be in the car between live shots or going to a store, you're coming back, and, you find out about their personal life, their families, and you become real friends with them. So, yeah, that's definitely going to be the main thing. I won't miss getting up at 2:50 in the morning.
Hallelujah.
Because I've been on this morning show now since 2008 this time. This is actually my second stint. But I love the mornings. I like getting up early anyway, but just not that early.
Yeah, and it hasn't set in yet. You've only been retired for 2 days.
Yeah, I feel more like I'm on vacation right now.
Yeah.
Although it was weird cleaning out my locker at work because I'd never done that, and I found a lot of stuff in there. And I never really used my locker, so I went in there and I started pulling all this stuff out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, found some great pictures and things. So, yeah, it's kind of hitting me. I've gotten up at 6:30 2 days in a row, which is fine. Got 8 hours of sleep, so that's a big change.
Yeah.
That's a positive. You said wife Kim, of course, a beloved teacher in the Belleville School District. She's got a little more time on the grind going to work, so you guys are not going to be retired together for another year. What are you going to do until she catches up with you for fun?
I'm going to work on me. I'm going to get in good sleeping patterns, exercise, eat right, play some golf. I actually am going to try my first stab at pickleball today with my sister-in-law. So
really,
I'm excited about that.
Very nice.
I know you're quite
Remember,
the pickleball
speaking
player.
Speaking of Dr. Rick and orthopedic
I
doctors, they
know.
do call it cripple ball, so take it easy.
Along those lines, I just got this study sent to me that'll be interesting. A recent study conducted by researchers at St. Louis University has uncovered new insights into the injury patterns among pickleball players across the United States. Unlike other sports where BMI increased the odds of injury, pickleball appears safe for folks who are overweight or obese. And this is just
Is this a shot at me right now, Frank? What's going on here? So I'm good? Don't get in too good a shape?
Yeah.
You're safe.
I might hurt myself?
I want to get to another thing for you. You were talking about the differences. You know what I think one big difference is, and it's probably for the better, but in the old days, Joe, you've witnessed it, I'm sure, newsrooms were like loud and people would yell and there would be fights and there'd be cursing. There'd be people throwing tapes at assignment editors and people kicking in walls. Now, if you say something like harsh to a producer, oh, I'm going to HR. Yeah. You made me feel uncomfortable. Boy, that's really changed.
No doubt. No doubt. I think the other thing that's really changed is when they went to overnight ratings. Because it used to be, you wouldn't get the ratings back for a month till afterwards. And then now they feel like, all right, we got to find something to really, hit the mark tonight because it's Thursday night or whatever. And they're almost trying to get a story to people to watch, reaction, immediate reaction, which I think is kind of hurt.
I would say that photogs at a TV station probably know the city and a region better than almost anybody else because you are driving everywhere. You're going everywhere for stories, and so many of the rest of us are siloed based on where we live. We go to the same places all the time, and you guys see it all. Do you plan on staying here in retirement in the St. Louis area? Do you have wanderlust to go travel or live somewhere else?
No, not to live somewhere else. I've got 3 grandkids living in the area here, so. But I do have another son and daughter-in-law and a grandson in Austin, so we've been going down there a lot.
It's cool, isn't it?
So, yeah, it's a very nice town, and it's warm, too. It'll be great to go down. Once my wife retires, to go down there and spend maybe a little extended time during the wintertime down there.
And the best memories with Joe, by the way, is I think I mentioned this on TV, but he shot football video better than anybody. And he was a former quarterback in high school and college. And Jill, it's like NFL quality that the football would be the center of the screen as it traveled down the field. It was really tight shots. I can remember great Friday nights with probably Alex. He was like 6 or 7. The 3 of us would go. We'd be in the truck. Alex would stay warm. It would be freezing cold. We'd do the live shots out there. He became like my kid's favorite person too. So,
yeah, it's kind of cool. And we all started having kids, and we could bring them around.
One birthday present we gave Joe was a red thong. Unfortunately, we never got to see him put it on.
And like all your listeners, I'm like, that's kind of weird. But okay, Frank.
Joe, you're the
one
best.
thing I will say about traveling with Frank, we always ate well.
Yep.
Now, we may not get lunches or anything, but he would find the best restaurant to go out to dinner that night, and that was always appreciated.
It's always been a pleasure to get to see you out and about, everything you do. You're very well regarded, not just at you're beloved by everybody at KSDK, but you've always been beloved and well regarded by everybody in the biz here in St. Louis. So I think I speak on behalf of all the viewers and your colleagues around the business and say thanks for doing a great job, and gosh darn it, enjoy yourself every single day. You deserve it.
Yeah, I plan to. It was a great run, but I'm ready to start my next chapter.
The great Joe Young joining us on the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS. We'll take a short time out. We'll have the song of the day and the quote of the day right after this.
Congratulations to John Beal Roofing. Want to give them a shout out. They've been a sponsor of the show through thick and through thin for coming up on 20 years. And their message has remained the same all these 20 years. Make sure you call someone local. With all the storms that have been in the area over the last couple of months, it's been busy, and a lot of out-of-towners are coming in. They sure are nice, but you know what? They'll take half your money, and you never see them again. Somebody from the insurance industry told me, make sure you call local. I told them I was well-schooled. John Beal Roofing will guarantee you the best price. They'll work with your insurance company and make sure you get the claim you deserve to fix it and fix it right. Roofing, siding, gutters, all storm damage, John Beal Roofing will take care of it. Keep it local and keep it John Beal. Keep it in the family for 20-plus years. John Beal Roofing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF or johnbealroofing.com.
I'm Farmer Dave, and here's my good friend and owner of MasterCars Inc., Alex Rosenberger, with today's hot MasterCars Inc. deals.
Thanks, Farmer Dave. Summer may be winding down, but that means the great weather is moving in. Time to get the convertibles, motorcycles, and sports cars out. We're selling them at a brisk pace. As a result, we need to buy even more of them. You have a very clean, classic, collectible, convertible, sports car, or even an everyday car you want to sell. How about an entire collection? We'll buy it all. And if we're buying them, of course we sell them too. Check out our site for some of the finest hand-picked vehicles for sale in the country. Ours are that good. Give us a look. It'll be worth your time.
So rev that motor and point your car in the direction of MasterCars Inc. and buy or sell today. 4100 Namioki Road in Granite City, or visit MasterCarsInc.com to get more details. That's MasterCarsInc.com.
The ultimate vacation awaits you as Brentwood Travel brings you the River Cruise Show, Monday, September 8th from 2 to 7 p.m. at the Lodge du Père. Take in breathtaking scenery, relax and unwind on an ultimate river cruise, whether it be domestic or abroad. Enjoy expert presentations from cruise line representatives from AMA Waterways, Talk, Avalon Waterways, Uniworld Boutique River Cruises, and Viking, with one-on-one consultations, exclusive deals and prizes for attendees, flexible schedule so you attend only presentations that interest you, and complimentary refreshments. Discover your perfect river cruise adventure with Brentwood Travel and the River Cruise Show, Monday, September 8th at the Lodge du Père, 1050 du Père Road. For presentation schedule to RSVP and more information, call 314-439-5700. That's 314-439-5700, or log on to brentwoodtravel.com. The ultimate vacation awaits you. RSVP today.
A legendary weekend is coming to the Lou. Don't miss the Stiefel Charity Classic presented by Compliance Solutions, September 4th through 7th at Norwood Hills Country Club. Watch PGA Tour champions compete and enjoy a live performance by music sensation OAR at Friday's community concert presented by CarShield. Tickets start at just $20. Kids, military, veterans, and first responders get in free. Get your tickets today at StiefelCharityClassic.com.
Electricity is very important because if you don't have electricity, you're sitting in the dark in more ways than one. And when the lights go out for one last time, maybe, just maybe, you want a whole home generator. Well, that's where Michael Baldy comes in, because Michael Baldy can do that. He's putting in a whole home generator for a friend of mine on the Hill. Whether you live on the Hill or a brand new home, at some point you're going to need some electrical help, and that's where Michael Baldy comes in. He's been an electrician since 1996, and he has a full team of electricians who will help you every single step of the way, whether it's a whole home generator, maybe some extra plugs for the Christmas lights, maybe it's something in the basement, something in the attic, maybe the garage, doesn't matter. Whether it's an old Victorian home or a brand new commercial building, indoor or out, Michael Baldy, the electrician, has got to be on your phone. Put him on your speed dial, 314-968-9999, 314-968-9999. You can thank me later. Michael Baldy, BaldyElectric.com.
St. Louis is home to more than 80,000 University of Missouri St. Louis alumni, where they drive the region's economy and contribute to its social and cultural well-being. At UMSL, more is what moves us. Find your more and build more connections at more.umsl.edu.
Want a song?
Around my mind like the song on the radio.
Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. Right here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Frank, so many of our listeners are really good at music trivia, have deep musical backgrounds, make suggestions to us when we play a song of the day, of another version of it or something that's great. And we played a song by Martha and the Vandellas when we were having some really hot weather a few weeks ago. And somebody said, their song, Dancing in the Streets, was so excellent, but the remake by David Bowie and Mick Jagger from '85 is worth a listen if you haven't listened to it for a while. So I did, and I thought it would make a fun song of the day today. That one made it to number one. It was, it actually wasn't originally by Martha and the Vandellas. They were the big ones. They were the biggest hit. It was like at that time that we've talked about a lot of times, Connor, where songs would just get passed around, and it was sort of like throwing the pasta on the wall. What stuck, and it stuck the biggest for Martha and the Vandellas, and the Mamas and Papas did a cover in 1966 as well.
But certainly a memorable music video.
Isn't it?
That's the only thing I think about with this song.
Because at the time, you didn't see like that many of like two superstars in the same video, and that's what made it really awesome.
And I was wondering why, just if they'd always wanted to work together. It was recorded as a single for Live Aid. Do you guys remember Live Aid?
Oh, yeah.
And so that was the effort to help raise money for needy in Africa, and that's kind of how it went, and it ended up being a really big hit. It only 20 years, I guess, if you do the math, from when it was a big hit in the 60s.
Did Marvin Gaye, what did he have to do with that? Did he have something with production with, wait a minute, hold on here. Mm-hmm. Marvin Gaye actually wrote it, the original one for Martha Vandell.
Oh.
Yeah. Boy, that really was, I don't know anybody like of age who has not seen that video of David Bowie and Mick Jagger.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
It's a fun one. And according to this, they shot it. Neither one of them wanted to spend too much time out of their busy schedules, so it was pretty.
So they just went to like an empty lot and started dancing around for 4 minutes.
Danced around and walked down the street together, and it seemed to work pretty well. I like every once in a while, as I've mentioned before, I don't stay up late enough to listen to any of the late night hosts on any of the stations too often. But one of the good things about YouTube is you can sometimes get a roundup of funny lines from the night before. And I think some of our late night hosts had some decent jokes last night. See what you think.
That's good.
Yeah, the Bill Belichick one was, I think, definitely the bump out of those for sure. You knew that was coming anyway, and then to have it, as you mentioned yesterday, to have the performance be Shall we call it less than stellar for the team?
Embarrassing is the word. Yeah, it will be a shame if this is not an aberration and a trend that, like, arguably the greatest NFL coach or maybe football coach of all time could end up this bad.
I don't think it'd be a shame. I think it'd be great. I don't want him to be successful. No, you got to have the memory of
cheating on the Rams.
Cheating on the Rams. What are you doing? What are you talking about,
your
Frank?
Loyalty there. Come on. Yeah, I just hate to see guys humiliated at the end, but
it's a choice, though. I mean, I guess my question is,
why do you do it at his age?
Why do you do it? I mean, if you're passionate about the sport,
because everybody thinks they got one last fight in them, because he ended 4-13. I can't end like this.
Well,
it's like prize
Deion
fighters.
Sanders had kids in the game and had the opportunity to sort of help lift up his own children's opportunity in football. So I kind of get that. I mean, not that I'm by any means an expert on any of this, but I think that sort of made sense to me. This just looked like I don't know what else to do with my life at all, so I'll just sort of keep trying something and see how it works out.
Yeah, the thing about it, too, is he probably was making close to $1 million as an analyst. He had a bunch of different shows he was on, and you don't wake up losing sleep. You don't work 18-hour days, which you probably shouldn't be doing when you're 73. He had a good life, but everybody thinks they got one last.
I'm not saying it's ever been easy to be a college, especially, at a high level, big university coach. But I would think at one time you go from that coach to be in the pros, and the idea was that being in the pros was even harder and more intense, and so somebody might drop back to the college level because there was a easier pace to the work to some degree, or it was more shooting fish in a barrel. That just can't be true anymore at all.
Definitely not.
I mean, in some ways, it's probably even harder because you're building a new team every year in most cases, thanks to the transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, because of the transfer portal, you're working all the time, and there's guys that have done both. Like Jim Harbaugh is an example of a guy who was successful both in college and now the NFL. Pete Carroll was one of those guys. Nick Saban was okay as an NFL head coach, not great. Steve Spurrier was a flop. So it's you don't find many of them that did them both great. I guess the best example would be Jimmy Johnson with the Cowboys and the University of Miami.
Well said. Hey, we're going to circle back around to a question that Frank asked at the beginning of the show after this next break to hear whether you think it's a good idea for the National Guard to be coming into Chicago specifically as the next city that's been targeted by the Trump administration, saying that intervention is needed. Interesting to hear if you haven't weighed in yet. 84126 Royal Banks of Missouri text line. Give us a yes. I think it's a good idea to have the National Guard come in and intervene to fight crime, or no, I don't. And then give us your reasons after you give us your yes or no vote. We've heard from a lot of you. We'd love to hear from some more of you on that subject as well. Back when I was a Contact 2 reporter in a different lifetime, one of the things that was just so common was to hear, unfortunately, shady business people, and there were a lot of them in the HVAC business, that would go out to somebody's home, a homeowner, talk the big talk with a lot of jargon about stuff they did, and then not actually do what they were paid for. And it was hard a lot of times for us, if we were trying to track down the story, or for the customers to prove what hadn't been done, because there was no paper trail. It was just all just a bill of sale, and then a lot of talk that the homeowners got left behind. One of my favorite things about really great companies is they leave an excellent paper trail for you as a customer, so understand exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, and it makes the next time you need to have work done, it makes it so much easier. Premier Heating and Cooling is one of those companies that does that beautifully. The technician has been out to my house from Premier Heating and Cooling for a clean and check on my furnace when the weather was cold, on my air conditioner, fixing an air conditioning issue for us. They've taken care of replacing with higher efficiency thermostats in the house. And every single time I get this beautifully written report saying, this is exactly what we did, this is exactly how it worked, this is exactly what the results were. And so I have an excellent record of all the work that's been done. They have an excellent record, so they track carefully what they've done, what needs to be done in the future, and they know our units, my unit, inside and out in ways better than I do, even though I'm the homeowner here. And that's just one of those signs of outstanding customer service. It's the reason they have that fantastic record with the Better Business Bureau, and the reason why you should trust them too for all your air conditioning and heating needs. PremierHeatingCooling.net, 636-916-1122.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Well, today we play the waiting game as a cold front holds off until this evening into tonight. Ahead of that front, it's going to be warm, up to about 87 under partly cloudy skies. But then when the front arrives, rain and storm chances ramp up. That's this evening and overnight tonight. The front swinging through. I think highest rain chances are going to be 8 p.m. to about 3 in the morning across the St. Louis metro area. A couple of showers still hanging on overnight, drifting to the south. We drop down to 58 by daybreak tomorrow. And Thursday, almost like October. Mostly sunny, a high of 75. Really nice. Highs in the 70s through the weekend, too, with another slight chance of some rain on Friday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers on the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Hey, it's Julie Buck for our friends at Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution, and they've been in St. Louis for over 20 years with 2 locations, one at Clayton and Lindbergh, and the other one just west of 270 on Olive. If you've got your own business and you want to have a better banking experience, look no further than Triad Bank. Their mission is to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services to you and your business. For more, go to triadbanking.com.
Do you know why right now is the absolute best time to book your new patio or deck with my friends at Outdoor Living? Aside from being the best in town, these guys are really smart. They pay attention to market conditions, and they've stocked up on patio and deck supplies, including steel, all before these tariffs kicked in. So while their competitors' pricing has gone through the roof, prices have never been better at Outdoor Living. Now is the best time to call and book your summer job. Not to mention, these same competitors have sold out to large conglomerates and hedge funds. Pat Leahy and his team remain locally owned and operated, providing the best pricing and the best service in town. So, looking for a new deck or a new fence or anything outdoor? Outdoor Living, 314-966-DECK. That's 314-966-DECK. Or check them out online, Outdoor Living Inc., or check out their great showroom, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood, OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Carney, Buck.
Wednesday on the Carney Show, Julie, the broadcast takes a week.
It does. Oh, I thought she was from Cagney and Lacey.
No, Tim Daly from the show Wings. He's going to be on the broadcast.
Oh, good. Can't wait to hear that. Also, we've got a couple of Johnnies on the program.
That's some sports. We get that from Bob Ramsey.
It all starts at noon.
John Carney, Julie Buck. Weekdays at noon on KTRS. The talk of St. Louis.
The University of Missouri-St. Louis is committed to providing top-ranked education. More than 80% of our students receive financial aid. At UMSL, more is what moves us. Find your more and explore your financial aid options at more.umsl.edu.
The Big 550 is here for you. To voice your opinion, chime in on the subject on air, and talk about whatever you want, it's the 9 a.m. open hour with McGraw.
Hey, McGraw, I don't agree with you all the time, but I respect your opinion.
He wants your feedback.
Girl, I love your 9 o'clock hour. You listen to everybody.
And interaction.
McGraw, I love your 9 o'clock hour and how you interact with the listeners.
If you can get a word in edgewise. 2 ways to get in touch. Text at 84126 or call in at 314-931-5877. The 9 a.m. hour with McGraw. It's all about you on the Big 550 KTRS, where St. Louis comes to talk.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a Banner Day.
Welcome back to the second hour of the Frank and Jill Show. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano here on KTRS Big 550 Talk of St. Louis, along with Connor McCarthy. Fun conversations with Joe Young. It was fun to see him again. I hadn't seen him for a while, and I'm really glad you brought him in. A big party to celebrate. You've been going to nothing but goodbye parties recently. Quinn's, Art Holidays.
Yeah. And that Saturday, that is going to be one busy day. You got Joe Young's party. You have the golf at Norwood. You have Hungo Hall of Fame Day. You have a City SC game.
So to say the least, you're not taking your typical Saturday off this weekend.
Oh, no, there's no chance. Or Friday, for that matter. But, yeah, I told Monique we are going to go. Dave Stewart is having a get-together, too, at his jazz club late on Saturday. I told Monique I need you for that one, so I'll be solo for the rest. We did a Zoom yesterday with Dave Stewart, and I think I was telling Connor, and not a Zoom, it's called a WebEx. You're probably familiar with that.
Sure.
Not many people are. But there were like...
I think a lot of people are.
Really?
If you work in corporate America, you know what a WebEx
Connor,
is.
did you know what it was?
I knew what it was. I don't think I've ever used it, though.
Yeah, and Charlie and Andy didn't know what the heck it was. But there was like 5 people. He has all these people, and I said, look, we're going to do this, but I think we're only going to need 2 when we're on. It's just me and Dave. But he couldn't have been nicer. And what I really liked about Dave Stewart is that he couldn't tell a story without being, without expressing gratitude to the Lord. So he's done a lot of great things, but he knows he hasn't done it alone. He's just done so many beautiful things for St. Louis, things that people have no idea what he's done, helping out.
I know, I remember from years ago when the last time there was the big tournament at Belle Reve, so many friends of mine volunteered because they said it was just such a cool opportunity. Yeah. Is that same kind of operation where there's just hundreds of local volunteers that are going to be part of this weekend? No, for
golf. Yes. Yeah. But I'm glad you brought that up because to be a volunteer, like at the BMW Championship, that's going to cost you like $2,000. You have to pay to be a volunteer. Now you get a hat and a shirt and everything, but you got to work, 12-hour days, 5 days a week. I'm not exactly sure of the number, but I was like, we were floored when we heard the number. What you have to pay to be a volunteer. But it is cool because you could get the 7th hole, so you're seeing the greatest golfers, in the world.
And is that happening this week at Steeple
they have
Charity
a great
Classic?
staff of volunteers at Norwood Hills Country Club.
But not quite. You're saying it's not quite as much of a sacrifice as when you're talking about the other tournament.
And I don't think you have to pay quite the amount of money to be a volunteer at this Champions event as you would at the BMW Championship.
And yeah, one of my future son-in-law's dad is a big golf guy, lives down in Jupiter, Florida, and he talked about the hardest job he ever had was volunteering.
Being a
one
volunteer.
Of those. And he held the "Quiet Please" sign on one of the holes. I mean, he said it was a really cool experience, but it was a lot. You have to get there very early. The transportation logistics were kind of a nightmare. You couldn't park anywhere near the course.
Oh my goodness, the parking, especially at Belle Reve. Like at Norwood, they have Lutheran North, which is really close, and they have UMSL, which is really close. But at Belle Reve, they make you park all over. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep, it's part of the excitement of being able to participate. Okay, so you asked the question. You want to repeat it early in the show, the poll question?
Well, the hottest topic probably in the country is whether the president sends the National Guard to Chicago. Joe Scarborough said it would be a good idea if the governor and the mayor work with Trump on this. So the question was, do you think it's a good idea? And just begin your answer with the word yes or no, and then explain it.
And so the initial was about 3-1 for the yeses, the initial response. The later responses are a little more in the 50-50 range. Some of you have given some very thoughtful answers as well. We'll read a couple of those. Yes, send the National Guard into Chicago. Crime is out of control in Chicago. No, the National Guard is not there to fight crime. Donald Trump has sent the National Guard into cities to fight democracy, states' rights, local control. That's one of the most important things that people stand for as Republicans. This is the opposite of that.
Yeah. Yes, lower the murder rate in Chicago. And we got plenty of no's, too. But I think you're right. It's probably about 65-35.
Yeah, and a couple of you said yes, but you said it things like conditionally. If it's a joint venture strategic plan combining with the state and the Guard, somebody else said yes, but only if the governor and mayor of the city are on board as well.
Yeah.
So there's cooperation.
Yeah, Bob the woodworker, yes, many would think it's going overboard, but there in many cities we've lost control to a small percent of a population. Laws need to be enforced so the majority can move without worrying, without being carjacked or worse. So that was from Bob.
National Guard in Chicago, bad idea. Federal troops aren't trained in hand-to-hand combat in this way. So interesting insights from you guys. Appreciate hearing from all of you on this subject as well. Speaking of hearing from somebody on this subject, we were kind of talking to Joe Young a little bit. He must be around 65, he seemed to indicate. Yeah. And one of the things he was talking about was there's a lot of stuff that changes. He's trying to figure out if that gym membership can be included as part of his Medicare plan. And that's one of the things about Medicare. Compared to any other health insurance, if you've changed jobs multiple times or your company has changed providers, you're used to some things flipping around when it comes to your health care coverage and the benefits and changes. But everybody says nothing is like the change that comes when you turn to 65 because there's just so many different components that have to do with Medicare. We're talking about the confusing supplements versus the Advantage plans. Didn't used to include dental and vision. Now it does, but only in certain plans and in certain situations. Ryan Raphael is the Medicare man. He's the Medicare man because he knows more about all of this as it relates to Medicare than I think any of us will ever have known. He's forgotten more about it than any of us will ever know in our lifetime. And one of the things he says that he hears from customer after customer after customer is people who are used to being on top of things and doing their own research on things say, wow, this process overwhelmed me. I could not keep stuff straight. I followed the advice of my friend, neighbor, coworker, brother-in-law, you name it, and that turned out to be a bad decision for us, and now we've got to try to switch things up, and it's really hard. I don't know what to do. And that's why I recommend that if you are nearing 65, retirement is approaching, it's really the time is now to reach out to Ryan, sort through all the noise, and have him help you find exactly what you need, the prescriptions you need, the providers you want, sort through all the noise and get you exactly what you want. We hear from so many listeners that when they made that call, set up the appointment, things went really well for them, and they really, really appreciate all that Ryan was able to do for them in this process. Here's his cell phone number, 314-368-6808, or you can go to MedicareMan.stl.com. And as always, his advice is extremely valuable, but it's no cost to you. It's the best deal in the world because under the law, his fees are paid by the insurance companies.
Diana from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers here to remind you, we don't just offer the best pieces, we offer one of the last master hand engravers in our country. My father can create timeless, personal, and unforgettable pieces. Come by our showroom at the corner of Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or learn more online at wowdiamonds.com.
Truck drivers and owner-operators, there's never been a better time to team up at Schneider. We have more team-friendly loads than ever, including express delivery parcel freight that offers great miles with no delays to keep the wheels turning. Plus, for a limited time, company team drivers may be eligible for a sign-on bonus of up to $16,000. Owner-operator teams may qualify for a $10,000 incentive. Explore team driver positions at SchneiderJobs.com and search team contracting jobs at SchneiderOwneroperators.com.
Looking for a new kitchen or bathroom? Call me, Anne-Marie Boges, the co-host of The Inside Out Show and owner and designer of Anne-Marie Design Studio. Visit our website at annemariestudio.com. We can help you make your dream space a reality. We're a fine kitchen and bath boutique located in Wildwood. Our showroom phone number is 636-821-3395. And again, our website is annemariestudio.com. Let's turn your kitchen or bath into the dream reality with Anne-Marie Design Studio.
Hey, Heidi Glaus here, and this Friday we're taking our show on the road to one of my favorite little getaways, Defiance, Missouri, and Beyond the Trail RV Park. Join us at Good News Brewing, a brewery that serves fantastic wood-fired pizza. That's this Friday from 3 to 6 in Defiance.
Are you tired of looking at those old, worn-out floors? Have you been dreaming of new hardwood floors? Well, then you should start dreaming about Boardwalk Hardwood. It's their annual warehouse sale going on right now through the end of September at all 4 locations. At Boardwalk Hardwood Floors, half off new floors. You can get half off inventory and factory specials and up to 25% off special order items. Their showrooms, 4 of them at Boardwalk Hardwood Floors, are filled with beautiful styles, great budgets, from timeless classics to modern designs and everything in between. Your home will look beautiful with gorgeous hardwood floors. Rich, stunning hardwood floors, courtesy of BoardwalkHardwood.com. For 25 years, Boardwalk has been your trusted, local, family-owned, quality flooring provider. And if you need hardwood floors, it's their annual warehouse sale now through the end of September at all 4 locations. Boardwalk Hardwood or BoardwalkHardwood.com.
This is Mariah, 3rd generation at Newsteaders Fine Jewelry. Buying an engagement ring can be intimidating. At Newsteaders, we ensure complete understanding of your purchase. We offer a choice in both lab and mine-grown diamonds and are able to work with any budget. Let our family help educate you on your choice at Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
It's Miller Furniture's Labor Day clearance event going on now through September 9th.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture and Mattress, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. Right now, you'll save up to 75% off our list price on all in-stock furniture and up to 50% off select custom orders at our Belleville, Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis, and Ellisville showrooms.
Plus, shop our Stickley galleries in Fairview Heights and Belleville and take 40% off MSRP on all in-stock and custom order Stickley furniture. We have new and fresh looks on display like flex steel leather reclining sofas with power headrests and lumbar support, or our unique heirloom quality Amish-made furniture.
Are you ready to sleep better and save big? Right now, save up to $800 on select adjustable mattress sets from Tempur-Pedic and Stearns & Foster. Or get half-price Chatham & Wells mattresses with the purchase of an adjustable base.
Don't miss our Labor Day clearance event going on now through September 9th. And check out Miller Furniture on Facebook for additional sales offers and new showroom arrivals.
At Miller Furniture, we put the family in furniture.
The City of Wildwood invites you to join the celebration as it celebrates its 30th anniversary. Celebrate Wildwood will be Saturday, September 20th, kicking off with its parade at 10 a.m. and then followed by all-day activities with fun for the whole family. A large assortment of kids' activities for all ages, and for adults, a vendor market, food vendors, music and dancing, and the night wraps up with a spectacular fireworks show. For more information, go to cityofwildwood.com/celebrate Wildwood. Consider yourself invited.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
The Bommarito Automotive Group is Missouri's #1 automotive group. They've sold over 1 million vehicles by giving you a better price, a better selection, and more for your trade. You can shop them online today. See their entire inventory at Bommarito.com.
Bommarito, also the place that helped you find a dream car for your fantastic wife over the weekend. You got to provide a nice surprise for her.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a wonderful job. They really did. They went out of their way, and it couldn't have been nicer.
Did you automatically know what you wanted ahead of time and you said, this is the car I need, or did they help in the discernment process as well?
I had an idea, yes. So
yeah, that's right. Brooke helped you do some of the kind of filtering process as well. You told us that yesterday. What's coming up on the press box tonight?
We'll have Charles Tuna Edwards and Andy Strickland. It's called the Wednesday Slop. And today's going to be a great day in TV. We're going to do some Zoom interviews with the drivers coming on Sunday. Kyle Larson, one of the best in the business, and Alex Bowman. Then we're headed out to Ascension, the Stiefel Charity Classic, and we're going to spend some time with the great Jay Haas on television too. So
some fun segments coming up on the Carney Show with John and Julie and Max, Heidi Glaus as well. So you're going to want to keep your dial right here today. We have a really fun show tomorrow. I'm excited. Mandy Murphy's going to join us. She's doing some great stuff, continuing to do some great stuff for people impacted by the tornado. And there's just some behind the scenes people doing, and organizations and churches making such a difference in the lives of people who've been devastated, because there's much to be done to try to get people back on their feet. And so I think it's going to be fun to hear about that. We've got a great restaurant coming in, Alpha Brewing, and their chef. Great story to tell about that and what makes that place so yummy and delicious, tucked away down in South City as well. And then Gary Pinkel.
Yes, we thought that since we're the flagship station, and what Gary Pinkel was told when he got the job about the importance of Mizzou beating Kansas, the Hall of Fame coach, would be an ideal guest. We're excited to have him at 11:30 tomorrow on the Frank and Jill Show.
We're just a couple weeks away from the anniversary of Lewis and Clark and the Corps of Discovery returning to St. Louis. It was in September back in 1806 that they ended their 28-month expedition. Came back to town and said, okay, here's what we found out. Literally changed the course of the United States after that trip. Isn't that kind of trippy to think about that?
That is crazy.
I mean, I wonder what they came back and was everybody like, hey, let's get together at the pub and talk about it. Was there formal meetings? I wonder how all of that information was conveyed during that time.
That'll be good. And what do you have in store today?
I have some clients this afternoon that I'm looking forward to working with as well. I don't have nearly as hectic or crazy as a day, though. I get to go home and work in my home office. I don't have to go to 27 different sites for interviews like you do over the next few days.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of the program. Coming up next, John Carney and Julie Buck. We'll take a break. We'll be back in 22 hours.
Progressive's Teen Driver discount could lower the cost of insurance for your teenager and save you some money. And then you can still spend money on them. Because just when you think you have a grasp on spending, new sneakers! And then it's money for a school field trip, and of course,